immense pleasure again to welcome you all to the Golden Jubilee Lecture Series number 4. First and foremost, I would like to welcome all the participants here, along with the teaching fraternity, the research scholars, the students, our senior professors, and the officials of the university who have joined us. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks even to the University of Mysore, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Hemant Kumar ji, our Registrar R. Shivappa sir, and other administrative officials for always supporting us whenever we take up certain causes. Maybe, as you all know, due to this pandemic, the things have gone completely haywire. If not, this Golden Jubilee celebration would have been completely different for us. But anyways, we are very positive and we look forward for many more activities and many more events in the coming days also. And I heartily welcome our resource person of the day today, Dr. Mohammad Ghulam Rahman, who is the former Chief Information Commissioner Bangladesh and also the professor with the University of Dhaka, advisor as well as the professor at Daffodil International University, Dhaka, Bangladesh, who will be speaking on the topic media scene in Bangladesh. So, as I told, our university, which has our department, which has completed 50 years of its existence, have been doing a lot of activities. We have produced not only good professionals, but even it is very good for us that we are connecting with our alumni. I'm very proud to say that Dr. Ghulam sir is our alumni who has been in the department during the year 1977, if I'm not wrong. And during those years, we used to get a good number of students from outside, even now also. So Bangladesh has been a very close sister country for us, where students do come to India to many of the universities to study, and Mysore University has been one of the hottest spot for the students. I'm very happy that sir was there as the student, as well as he has completed his PhD in our department. So now I heartily welcome you, sir, again for this particular event, where you readily agreed to be here and to share some of your thoughts and experiences on the topic, which is very relevant, that is on the media scene in Bangladesh. Now, I hand it over to our chairman and Professor Niranjan Vanali to take it forward. Thank you one and all for joining us.
Thank you, Sapna. Friends, it's a very proud moment for any department. From where the sound is coming. It's a very proud moment for any department that an alumnus of the department goes back to his country, shines there and shines internationally, does work in many countries, visits 35 countries and rises to the level of CIC, Chief Information Commissioner of that country. He is none other than Mohammad Ghulam Rahman, who was a student of Professor Nadi Krishnamurthy. He was the first, I think the first PhD candidate of Professor Nadi Krishnamurthy, who founded our department. I remember when I was also a student here, there used to be 2-3 Bangladeshis who were doing PhD under Professor K.V. Nagaraj, I remember. So, as Sapna told you, Mohammad Ghulam Rahman studied here, studied his MA here, then did his PhD under Professor Nadi Krishnamurthy. But unfortunately, after the demise of Professor Nadi in 1986, I think he had submitted his thesis, and before the announcement of the results, he passed away, and Professor K.V. Nagaraj conducted the Viva. I am told about that. And we are really proud of you, sir, Dr. Mohammad Ghulam. Then to introduce him, he was the head of the department and professor of mass communication and journalism department in University of Dhaka, and for a long time. Then he was pro vice chancellor of Daffodil International University and professor and head of mass communication there. And I was very happy to learn that he was professor and head of the Department of Language and Communication Studies in Papua New Guinea University of Technology. Papua New Guinea is a small country. I didn't know the name of that country also, where 2-3 years back, my student, Miss Dr. Kaveri Mishra, she was also teaching there. And she said, sir, are you interested in coming to Papua New Guinea? There are positions, she said. I had no occasion to accept the offer. Anyway, so he did his MA in 1977 with first class and first rank. Then, very interestingly, he served as the chairman of the drafting committee for National Broadcasting Transmission Commission in Bangladesh. So, author of many books, and he has written many international, he has written many articles for international journals. We are very happy to invite him today to our Golden Jubilee lecture series. This is the fourth in the series. And I think you are the first one, a foreigner, to address this session, sir. So we are very proud. We welcome you once again. And so many of our senior faculty members, Professor G.P. Shivaram is there, Professor H.S. Ishwara is there. I think Professor Balu also has joined or will be joining. I hope Professor Usharani also will be joining. So we welcome all our senior faculty members. We welcome our students and my senior friend, I see C.D. Lakshman Rao. So very kind of you, sir. You have come to participate in our program. I know he is 80 plus. I welcome all of you to this lecture series and request Professor Muhammad Ghulam Rahman to deliver. We are very eager to know how the media scene in Bangladesh. Personally, I have seen in Oman, I have seen in Tajikistan. Is it different? Because the country is different and the setup is different. We are eagerly to listen to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Niranjana. I think we have got here Honorable Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, my respected teachers, Dr. H.S. Ishwara, and many friends here, all distinguished guests and listeners, viewers. It is a great privilege for me. I become emotional to address this occasion. You know, this is Golden Jubilee, and I find it's a big moment for me. It's a big opportunity for me to stand and talk to you. This August gathering, I should say, because all our distinguished people here joined, and also some students and research scholars are there. So it is, of course, a great privilege for me. I am really happy that I'm almost returning to my second home as Mysore,
Yes.
Mysore University. And I remember when I first joined for my master's program. It was a 2 years program. I joined in 1975. I received a government scholarship. I was engaged in journalism in early 70s. I was a freedom fighter. I participated in my freedom struggle, liberation struggle as a freedom fighter. I was working as Mobile correspondent for my district Sherpur, for Bangladesh Times and Daily Azad. And I was a student of postgraduate diploma in Dhaka University. During that time, I received the Indian government scholarship to pursue my master's program, and I was looking for where to go and all that. So I got the first offer from Mysore University. I also got offer from Chandigarh, Punjab University, and some other places. But I preferred to go Mysore University because of Professor Nadi Krishnamurthy was there, and he was so very enthusiastic. I mean, he had a lot of love to get people from other countries and other guests, So he prompted like anything, and he replied all the correspondence done by Indian High Commission in Dhaka, and I could join. I was supposed to join in 1974, but the session was because of the delay of the communication and all that. I had to join in 1975 after 1 year when I was a final year student of masters in Dhaka University. But I thought it will be rewarding for me if I can join at Mysore University under the scholarship scheme. Anyway, I stayed there for 2 years, 1975 to 1977, and it was, my experience was such that I still remember I used to work for the Manasa Gangotri, the practice journal of the department. I was really engaged with that, and Professor Nagaraj during that time he was a reader, and he used to take care. Mr. Puttaraju, K. Puttaraju, he was there, and many other teachers were there, but they were very much interested for bringing out the practice journal, and I used to work for them. And in only one academic session, we could publish about 35 issues of Manasa Gangotri. Maybe that is the highest I remember. And K.V. Nagaraj told me once long back that nobody could break that record, So many issues brought out in bilingually in Kannada and English. So I was almost whole time passing my time in the department. Anyway, it was a great experience, and you said, Dr. Niranjana, about my results and all that, and later when I joined, after coming from Mysore University, I joined as a reporter in the national, in a private news agency, so that in Eastern News Agency for some time, and from there I joined as information officer in the Bangladesh University of Technology and Engineering. There I was I served there for 4 months, and later I joined University of Dhaka as lecturer. So my teaching started since 1978 February in the Dhaka University. And after 3.5 years, I went again for my PhD in Mysore University. So this was the journey, and from 1981, I pursued my PhD degree, and I submitted my thesis in 1984. But for technical reasons and all that, it took a long time. And when I came to Mysore again to face my defense, it was 1986. I still remember Professor Sadashivan of English Department of Madras University came as external, and there was an open defense, and interested that he should give some publicity for the department, and he arranged an open vacancy for PhD candidate. And you understand during that time how I could feel and all situation. Anyway, it was very good, and a lot of question answer and everything gone very well. So later, I was awarded in 1986. So this is the story of Mysore University, but I still remember Manasa Gangotri canteen, the din vada and coffee, and noon meal. It was quite hot for me, chilly hot, but still it was nice. I used to stay in postgraduate hostel for men, so it was great experience. Anyway, the thing is, let me talk about the media situation and media scene in Bangladesh. I think since India is a very big country, it's a vast country, and the diversity is a very important issue in India. So you are rather interested to learn the neighboring countries. I understand, but you are engaged always, all the time, with your provincial activities and also the happenings and events around the country, across the country. So now I don't think much coverage of Bangladesh is there in Indian newspaper. Only when there is some upheaval or maybe some flood or cyclone or something bad happens, then the press and media covers. So the thing is, the things are changing fast. We after the independence of Bangladesh, we passed almost 50 years. So this half century, it is a very great ups and downs in political system and regime changes and all other things. But still, we get a very good media situation in Bangladesh, a free media in Bangladesh, because we have got about 1,277 newspapers. Very recently, our information minister revealed this in our parliament, Jatiya Samsad parliament. So, and it was there that more than 100 daily newspapers are coming from the capital, Dhaka itself. But about 20 newspapers among them are doing good circulation. Again, the television channels, if you say we have got Bangladesh television is a government-owned television. Bangladesh radio is Betar, we call it. Bangladesh Betar, it is government-owned Betar like Akashvani. But we have got private television channels and also FM radios and community radios, okay? So there, you'll get a very free and open, vibrant media situation, particularly when you tune any television channel, you'll be getting some sort of discussions. We call it talk shows. So talk shows are very popular in Bangladesh channels, and most of the television channels conduct talk shows in several formats, in several ways, and in different time span of 24 hours activities. So there, anybody talk anything about government, about prime minister, about they criticize vehemently on any issue, whether it is corruption, whether it is any other unruly things or social discrimination or any other thing they take in the discussion. And also we find in newspapers, particularly the daily newspapers, we have got very good op-ed pages, So these op-ed pages cover the free writing by anybody. Apart from the columnists or from the regular contributors of the newspapers, they publish opinions and free opinion of anybody, okay? So there we find all sorts of criticism, all sort of appreciation. So a lot of media, freedom they enjoy, I think. But again, if you are very critical about the media situation in the democratic setup, of course, we have got limitations. We have got some limitations of legal aspects. We have got some limitations of our behavior pattern by the media people sometimes, because the political economy of the media is something which is to be determined while you are discussing the situation. You see, because of the private ownership of television channels, you'll find mostly they are politicized, and the owners are often from the political background, and of course they take this as supplementary business of their other business. Their other sister concerns, because when they think that if they have a newspaper or a television channel, they find it easy to make their other business profitable or take the advantages from the government, So the power of media, they show by that. The advantage of media, they take from that, So that's why sometimes some small medium, particularly some television channels or some newspapers which are not having much, audience or much readers, but they are taking the advantage of running them just because of their other business to run well. So this is the situation. At the same time, we have got the problem of or the staff or the manpower or journalists working. In many organizations, they don't get good salary, they don't get their security of their job, they don't find promotions. So those are the problems that we find. But there are few organizations, few media setups who can take care of their staff, their employees very well, and they really do very, very good things, And apart from about 42 television channels are being approved for their transmission, but about 30 channels are in operation, and about a dozen of channels are waiting to start their, show. So this situation, and again, we have got a few dozens of community radios and also some FM radio. They also broadcast news and reviews and all other discussions and musical programs and all other. The FM, the quality and the standard of FM depends on the popularity of the medium, particularly the radio, I'd say. But again, when we are critical about the government-owned media, Bangladesh radio, Bangladesh television, the one thing is very pertinent, very important here, that these are the stations, both the radio and television, they portray the real Bangladesh. They portray the national culture of the country. They portray the public service information very widely. So, which we don't find that in our private television channels. Private television channels are busy with everyday event, everyday, some controversy, some political debate, social issues and all other things. But for the public service information, for the public interest information, all our public interest information in news and all other views and discussions. But for some technical information like nation building information, development news, development information, those are much more covered by Bangladesh television, BTV we call it, and also Bangladesh Betar, there is Bangladesh radio. So this is an issue we often raise, that what the Bangladesh television portrays and radio portrays the image of the country. The other channels are only entertaining people with their programs, with their discussions and talk shows, but not the cultural ethos or cultural values are depicted that way. So this is the real situation, And again, because of our globalization, because of our international connectivity, we do get social media's response is very effective and very significant. And this social media has come up as, like any other country, as parallel media, and which is very difficult to ignore. But at the same time, we are in a position that we cannot depend on those media. The social media can take advantage of projecting information very fast and very swift in a rapid manner, but often we find those are not authentic. Often we find those information or news are not news, they are fake, and sometimes they are politically motivated, and sometimes they are intentional, and sometimes they make the gossip and rumors a lot in the country. So those social media's role, in India also, so far I understand, it is complicated and it's difficult, and of course, it can mobilize people's opinion, and it mobilizes people's opinion in Bangladesh too. So apart from that, the media education, if I say something, media, I mean the journalism and communication education in Bangladesh, is the Dhaka University is the university which started in 1962 with a postgraduate diploma course. And then again in 1967 state session, they started the master's program of 2 years, and in 70s they started 3-year honors course, and then it turned into 4-year honors course. 4 years BSS, Bachelor of Social Science in Journalism and Mass Communication course they started, and similar courses started in different divisions of Bangladesh, like Rajshahi. They started Rajshahi University, and in 1994, 95 in Chittagong universities. Then slowly in many other countries, in many other divisions, like Khulna University, then Rangpur University, Rangpur Begum Ruqayya University, Kumilla University, Trishal Kazi Nazrul Islam University. So several public universities introduced journalism, mass communication, or media studies, this sort of courses. In Dhaka also, there is a Jagannath University, which started the similar course. And 25 miles from Dhaka, it is about Jahangirnagar University. They are also offering this sort of course. And parallelly, there are private universities. We have got about 107 private universities. They're privately owned. They're run by trust and all other things. I mean, so it's on a non-profit basis. And many of those universities, like maybe about more than a dozen of those universities, are offering journalism and mass communication or media studies courses in their own way. But the University of Dhaka took the lead, and also they had the influence on all other universities, because of their senior position, because of their experience and all other things. And that's why all other curriculum of different universities is almost a reflection of Dhaka University's curriculum, So there is a cultural dominance of Dhaka University to the other universities is a great point to be noted. So and we are getting about 1,000 or more than that graduates every year from different universities in this discipline. And that this media, particularly the television channels and newspapers, there our graduates are taking a very good role, and few of them have already turned to be the CEO or the chief of the organization, like that. And very recently in March, I joined a daily newspaper which is coming up on 27th June. We are publishing it domestically just because of COVID-19 and lockdown and all that. We could not give it to the market so far. On 27th, they have decided to give it to the market. It will be daily newspaper, and it was sponsored by US Bangla Airlines Group. It is Vijay Bangla Media Limited. So I became an editor of the newspaper now. So it's a new area for me to explore. So this is, I think, and if I say something more than that of our country's situation, you see, when we find that globalization has taken in such a shape of media heterogeneity, or sometimes it becomes so homogeneous media. But because of the diversity and pluralistic approach of media, it becomes a serious issue for the media how to handle and how delicately they can manage the plurality or pluralism. And when we find the influence of global issues, globalizations, and fast and rapid way of transformation of news and information, how they travel from one media to another media, and also in the social media, you'll find a very big challenge in the real objectivity of the content, So content becomes an issue, whether and how you can make it to the welfare of the country. It is a very, very big question. And when you believe in democratic culture, we need to understand that media should be an imperative force or catalyst in the democratic society, in the democratic situation. But often we find this becomes they play only a critical role, but not a constructive role. So for the developing countries like us, although we are advancing very fast. If you might be knowing that in the South Asian countries, in many development index or human development index (HDI), we have surpassed many of our neighboring countries, particularly with the child mortality rate, then enrollment of children in the school, then hygienic latrine or production of food grains, and per capita income, then GDP growth rate, and all other things. So those we have surpassed many of our South Asian countries. So Bangladesh, once it was said that it was a bottomless basket by Kissinger when he was the foreign secretary of USA after the liberation of Bangladesh. But now it becomes a surplus country for our food grain. It is the our fish production is fourth in the world, particularly the cultivable fishes. Our vegetable production is fourth in the world, and it is going to be third in the world. So this is the realities that and the cities are booming up like anything. The infrastructure is coming up, in a robust way. We are getting our metro rail next year, so we are spending for the bridge with our own money when World Bank has refused to give their contribution, suspecting some corruption and all that. But ultimately, they could not find any corruption. But our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, has assured the nation that country itself can put money to build the great for the bridge, and it is now coming up, and next year in June it will be opened. So this is the overall situation is like that. And if you have any chance to come to Dhaka, anybody will come and will find your neighboring country is doing good, and you will be surprised to know that like any other fast-moving country or fast-moving cities, Dhaka is also doing very great. So because I travel a lot, and just because of Corona, I'm confined at home, but I travel a lot. I visit a lot of conferences and seminars throughout the world. So I find that things are changing in a positive manner, and that we are hopeful that the nation is doing something good. And one thing I should say, just to give a pause for the participation of the audience, that our country is a country where 98% people speak only one language, that is Bengali, Bangla. So this is a great situation for us to communicate across the country for any development message, for any development issue, without any barrier, So everybody understands the language, everybody speak the language, but there are some small small religious communities. We have got about 10% Hindu population. We have got about 2% of other ethnic minority groups and tribal groups and all other things. So, but still they understand Bangla, they speak Bangla. And I remember when I went to Mysore, and I am a Muslim and I am a Bengali, when I met any Muslim in Mysore or Bangalore, they thought they used to talk in Urdu, but we are not accustomed to talk in Urdu. We talk Bangla. They become surprised that how can it be a Muslim talk Bangla? So it is, for their cultural shock, it was there. So anyway, I think I should leave to you now, and you can, if you are in a position to ask any question or anything, I can contribute. I'll be happy to answer your question. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It is my great privilege for me that I still remember Mysore University. Once with my student group, in a study tour, I visited Mysore University. That is also in maybe 94 or 98, I forgot. And was surprised when Kushal Kumar was there. Professor Kushal Kumar, then Joseph was there, Shibram was there in Dharwad, I think, in that time. Anyway, and we met several times Usharani in different conferences.
Mangalore University.
Yeah, and I visited Mangalore University also. And also that several other university. I was the chief guest in a communication conference in Tezpur University. 3 years back, and also I was the chief guest in another international communication conference in Bardhaman University in West Bengal. So I remember those things, and anyway, this is, it becomes very emotional situation for me to speak, but I'll be happy to answer if you have got any queries or any clarification to understand. So thank you, Lord. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, Sapna, we will take up some questions.
So we have some questions.
Yeah.
So,
Before that,
we have some questions. We have a question from Shashi Prasad. Sir, please.
Dr. Muhammad, you said 98% speaking Bangla. This Bangla, is it different from Bengali?
Yeah, Bengali is Bangla. We call it Bangla. Bengali is the English word, Bengali. Okay, but the Bengali means Bangla.
So most of your newspapers are in Bengali or Bangla.
Right. We have got English newspapers, several English newspapers, daily newspapers, but mostly Bangla newspapers, Bengali newspapers. Yeah.
Sapna, take up questions from others. Yes.
Yeah, so from Shashi Prasad, he wants to know Shashi Prasad is a journalist, former journalist, presently pursuing his PhD now. So he just wants to know the role of social media or the digital media in the present context in Bangladesh. Because in India, we have seen it is especially among youngsters, there is a large usage of the social media among youngsters. So he just wants to know whether the same kind of trend does exist in Bangalore, how it is different. How do the people use social media?
Yeah. Thank you very much for the question. I told you a little bit of social media. The thing is, it is not very different from India. I know, because almost all characteristics are same, you can say, because the young people are moved by social media, and also now because of the COVID-19, it ranges to any age groups, So the people are very active in social media. They often organize very big mobilization. In about 14 years back, there's a big Shahbag movement. It was just initiated by social media, and it was an issue for the judgment of the criminal offenses done in the War of Liberation. And there was a international court for international tribunal court for the judgment of the people who have committed the crimes, war crimes, and also the humanitarian crime that did. And we just because of that movement and all that of the sentiment of the nation.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದ
And those were initiated by social media. It was a very big, it became very big political issue, and we could hang all those culprits, and so the Supreme Court decided to deliver the verdict to hang them. So this sort of movement is there by which social media could be or can be taken as a very serious medium, I should say. And and often we find on sports, on many other social occasions, they can organize, they can mobilize people, and they mobilize in a physical, thousands of people, lakhs of people gathered together to raise their voice and chanting slogans and all that. Just because of the social media, they could organize things. So it becomes a very powerful medium in Bangladesh.
Okay, thank you, sir. We have a second question from Mohammed Swali, again a research scholar with the Department of Journalism. So he appreciating your lecture. He says that he wants to know the level of media censorship which exists in Bangladesh, including film censorship. What kind of film censorship you have?
Okay. Yeah, it is a very pertinent question, I should say, interesting. Thank you for the question. The thing is, officially there is no censorship, but there are some other way of media restrictions, I should say. We have got a law, Digital Security Act. So Digital Security Act is there, and then the Digital Security Act implies for any citizens who can harass through internet or some electronic means, and who actually the law was enacted to give a protection to the users or internet users particularly. But what happens, it is being misused, abused by the non-state actors, and mostly in political rivalry. They file case against somebody for sharing something, or for even false sharing of Facebook thing. Sometimes we find it was a fake account where some people intentionally put something bad, maybe anti-religious, maybe anti-social, maybe against some political parties. So by way of doing that, they could file a case to the police, and police go for action. They arrest people involved. So without getting the trial or the judgment or the legal actions, they just arrest, they round them off and put them in the jail. So this is very big abuse, I should say, and we are also raising voice on those issues. And recently I have seen some set rules done in India also by Modi government for some sort of control or restrictions of social media use. Although we don't have that sort of control, but in a way these non-state actors, they sometimes take advantage of that law, and that law is being abused against many journalists in the country. This is very unfortunate, and we also get some very bad examples of those. So in a way, those, maybe you can call them the some sort of restrictions, and some sort of democratic values are not prevailed in that case. In some very special cases. That's there.
Sir, it's my personal question. Thank you for that answer. My personal question is on the gender bias in media. How much of women get into media in Bangladesh? Whether being a, I don't know, you need to tell me, because for an outer world, we always feel it as a Muslim country. Maybe there may be a lot of restrictions, a lot of conservativeness would be there. So I just want to know, and correct me if I'm wrong, whether girls get into media. And if the girls get into media, what kind of opportunities they have, and are they able to survive in the, again, male dominated media in Bangladesh?
Yeah, it is very nice question. Thanks, Dr. Sapna. The thing is, you see, our population is almost 50-50, 49 and 51, male and female. So the thing is, in media, a good representation of women is there. We can say in the presentation of news in television channels, in reporting sections, in desks, the female colleagues, they're working. I mean, the female reporters, they're working. And at the same time, in newspapers also, maybe you can say 25 to 30% of our total staff will be women. And you understand, many of them do not like to go because it is very adventurous job as journalism, and also some shifting duties and all other, comfort is not there. But the females are going and they are doing freely. And on the contrary, you can say there are some religious groups, there are some religious organizations. Sometimes they scream, they don't say that our females are equal and all that, but they're not the big number. They're very small groups, but there is voices sometimes that women should not be doing this sort of job and all that. So those are very old school of, religious extreme thought on those people. So but in general, Bangladesh is a progressive country. You must admit that. Bangladesh is a very open-minded society. You must recognize that. Although there is a tradition of putting the scarf on their head and all that, it becomes a fashion coming from Malaysia. And it was not very old. It is only about 2 decades, tradition has come like that. So, and they make it as a fashion, and they make it as good. So, but our society is mostly, I should say, not conservative. Some people in the society, you might be finding that you may get that they are reserved with their own, value system and their religious extreme thinking. But that cannot be generalized. And if we generalize, then it will be overgeneralization. So please try to understand it that way. Okay, that will be a small fraction in the society. And our media is very much represented by women for writing, for participating, and all other things.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody who wants to ask a question can unmute themselves. Anybody, sir? Anybody who wants to raise a question or an issue? So I have heard that Bangladesh is a country where there is a lot of community radio stations, because I've been working with community radio station as one of my research area. So I've seen many of my colleagues like Mohammad Salih sir from Chittagong University, Rajiv Nandi, a very good friend of mine. So I've been speaking to them. I've been working along with them. So what do you think is the main reason? Do you think that a community radio station, just because you are still in this radio as a medium, has helped you to cater to the lower strata or of the various communities as such? The popularity of
community radio is popular, of
is very
course,
high
but
in Bangladesh.
we do not have too many community radios. I think few dozens of community radio in the population of 170 million people is not much. There should be much more community radio, I should say, that should be established in the country. But which the community radio working now are doing good. They are representing the grassroots population. They are voicing the grassroots people, and they're contributing in their own region. And it has got the benefit. It has got the boundary or limit of transmission. The community radio can only reach to some maybe about 30 to 40 miles, not more than that. So surrounding that, the people are covered, but the community radio is doing very good, and they are serving the local population with different, particularly the marginalized people, the people with less empowered or less informed. They are taken care of. So community radio is doing good, and they are claiming a lot of awards internationally. This is also interesting.
Yes,
And
yes,
there,
yes.
my friend Mr. Fazlur Rahman is there, of the Federation of
Yes.
Community Radios. They have got an organization.
Radio, yes, yes. I met
Yeah.
him. Yeah, I met him. So we have a
And
question. Yeah, finish it, sir.
let me ask you whether Professor H.S. Ishwara is there, or today he has not attended.
Ishwar sir is there. Yeah, he's still there. Sir,
Okay.
he's very much there.
And my respected teacher, and he was my not only direct teacher, he was my supervisor for my master's thesis. And
Dissertation.
yeah, dissertation. I mean dissertation, right? So the master's dissertation. So
Sir, can you speak to a few minutes? Professor
Ishwar sir is there.
His microphone is off.
Okay.
Yeah. So until then, can I take a question? Sarvajit, one of the student with the department, wants to know: is there a separate article for the freedom of press in the Constitution of Bangladesh?
Yeah, we have got Article 39 of the Constitution. It is said that press freedom is guaranteed, and also the freedom of speech is guaranteed in Article 39 B, A, and other even democratic values like assembling of people, mobilization of people are allowed, movement of people are allowed. Those are constitutionally, accepted things. That is there, and also you have got, Right to Information Act, which was enacted in 2009. In India, it was done in 2007, and in Bangladesh, it was done in 2009. And right to information is being exercised by citizens, though not much, only about 8, 9, 10,000 applications annually we receive in the different offices. But the system of providing information is a little bit different than India. In India, the first appeal, second appeal, those things are there. But in Bangladesh, there is a system like any government offices or non-government offices are supposed to provide information, and any citizen can ask for information or demand information or seek information in any office without any fees. Only they have to pay the reproduction cost. I mean the photocopy cost, 2 taka per page. Or if they can take electronically, it will be just free. So this is something, and if the information is not given by that designated officer, then he or she can lodge an appeal to the head of the institute or head of the organization. And again, if he or she fails to get any reply from them or doesn't get information, then he or she can lodge a complaint to the Information Commission. And we have got 3 commissioners. One is chief and 2 other members, and one is women among these 3. So, and you told that I served as Chief Information Commissioner from 2016 to 2018, almost after my retirement from the Dhaka University. I retired from Dhaka University in 2016, and the experience is the people get interest to information from different offices, but sometimes even if they don't get, they file the complaint. I mean, they file a complaint to the Information Commission, and we every year we maybe 500 plus cases we dispose, and most of them get information. So, but still, it is not yet popular to the, in general, people in general do not know law or legal aspects. They are not interested sometimes. But when they know that they can ask for information from any office or any project or any development activities or any facilities or services given by the office, they are supposed to know, and they are getting those information easily. So there's an established area of getting information, but the journalists do not feel it comfortable, because they will have to, when they apply for information, they may have to wait for about 3 weeks, 3 weeks time to get the information processed. So for the journalists, it is very difficult to wait for long few hours, few weeks, and information delayed is information, it's denial of information. Is my point. I wrote also the slowing down of providing information means denying of information, because that information doesn't have any value.
Professor Ishwara is there.
Yeah. So delayed justice, denied justice, something like that, So I also feel the same way. So this is a technical problem, and we need to improve this, to the process should be smoother. That is important.
Professor Ishwara was there.
Yes, Dr.
please,
Rahman. Dr. Rahman, it's a great pleasure seeing you after half a century.
Namaskara from me. How are you?
How are you? I'm very gratified to see you after.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you very much. I was expecting that I should see your face.
Yes.
You are in Bangalore, is it?
I am in Bangalore.
Okay.
Still alive and active.
Of course. You'll be alive for, decade and decade, no problem. I hope. Yeah. I'm really happy to see you. I still remember that you supervised my dissertation for masters. I still remember. I used to go to your home. I took the pictures of your small daughters and you. I still remember those things.
Small daughters. They're
Yeah, you had during that time.
They are sitting here.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it is so.
Okay.
I can assume, I can assume. Yes.
Okay, Dr. Rahman, it's a pleasure.
Thank you. Great.
Very gratified. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Please bless us. Please bless us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Sapna, it's time. I think we have to close today at 3:30. Dr. Sapna?
Maybe he is disconnected.
Where is she? Sapna, yeah.
You have to unmute. Sapna, you have to unmute.
I'm doing it. Yeah. Done. So thanks a lot, sir, for being here and also sharing some of your thoughts as well as the experience of how.
I just speak a line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please, sir. Please go ahead. Please.
The thing is, I told you that it is my great privilege and it is my opportunity, of course, as a graduate of Mysore University. I wish everything good for Mysore University and the department, of course. If situations, allow, if is there any program or any, occasion that I can join with you,
yes.
I'll be happy to join you.
Sure, we will invite you, sir.
Thank you very much. And during my days, Mr. Krishna Vattam was there, a correspondent of
Deccan Herald.
Deccan Herald.
Yeah.
And he made the news when I was conferred a PhD, and he wrote it a first kind of, degree as conferred in journalism and mass communication to a candidate Ghulam Rahman, like that,
Mm-hmm.
It was the news, and also it was published in Indian Express. So I still remember, I still have the paper cutting, the clipping still I have got. Thank you very much. I still remember
Good.
Yeah.
the campus
Sir,
there.
we will continue our relationship
Of course. Yeah, sure.
in the
sure.
days to come. And today I know the time was very short. We will meet again sometime with all our students and have some more discussions.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Maybe in a focus group we can talk more.
Yes,
It'll be interesting.
I think so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much from me.
Thank you. Sapna?
Thank you. So yes, sir. Yeah. Again, as I told, it's been very. It gives me immense pleasure to have you, sir, here among our scholars, among our students, to where you spoke about the. In a nutshell, you gave us the detail about how the media scene in Bangladesh, about
Yeah.
Act, or it can be related to the use of social media, or maybe the gender bias which existed in the media scene, as well as of information about media education in Bangladesh also. We are very happy that you were here, you shared. At the same time, we are very happy because we could connect you to your teacher of around 50 years back. We could make you and Ishwar sir speak, which will be a very good we can give back to the students as well, because even Professor Ishwar has always been a backbone for us. He always keep supporting us, encouraging us, and at the same time we are happy that you are being a student and you have grown to such a stature in your own country by bringing laurels not only to you but also to the University of Mysore. We are very thankful to you, sir, and I also thank all our attendees like Professor Ishwar sir, Professor GP Shiram sir. We also have a candidate from Philomena's College. I could see Dr. Wagdevi also. At the same time, other students and research scholars who have joined us and who have been here and have listened to you, sir. I also thank our chairperson, Professor Niranjan Manali, sir, for giving us this opportunity. Hopefully, as sir told, we'll continue with this academic relations, even in the future. Hopefully, to you people very soon in person. Thank you, one and all, for being here.
Yeah, Sapna,
So
before closing,
thank you,
one
sir. Thank you
announcement
once
for
again.
next week. Friends, for next week, that is number 5, Golden Jubilee lecture number 5 will be by Mr. Hamsa Lekha, well-known film composer and well-known personality in Karnataka. He will be speaking on film and music next week, I think at 5 o'clock in the evening. We will send the link. I request all of you to attend without fail. Thank you, Sapna. So
Thank
we
you.
will meet. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
We will
Thanks
keep
a
in
lot once
touch.
again. Thank you.
Mr. Rahman, we will keep in touch.
Thank you.
Sure.
So thank you, sir. Thank you, Gulam sir.
GP Shivram.
Thank you, Shiram sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shiram.
Shivram is there?
Thank you, one and all.
Yeah, Shivram.
You could talk to me, man. How are
Shiram
you?
sir.
Mute ಆಗಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಶಿವರಾಮ್ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ
ಈಗ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ
ಈಗ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದೆ
ಹಲೋ
There.
ಹಲೋ ರಮನ್
Yeah, you are in Dharwad, Mangalore.
ಹಲೋ
Hello.
ಕಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹಲೋ
ಇಲ್ಲ
Yeah. I'm getting your sound.
You speak.
ಹಲೋ
we are hearing
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ರಮನ್
Yeah, you are in Mangalore, is it?
he is in Mysore.
Hello.
He is retired.
Mysore.
He is in Mysore.
Oh, he retired. Okay, of
ಕೇಳ್ತಾ
course.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಏನೋ ಕಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ
Yeah, he was 1 year junior to me. So
ಓಕೆ ಬಾಯ್
yeah.
you.
All the best. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, one and all.